Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. This time we're doing something a little different for the beginners out there. We're going to go over how to make one of the strongest decks with just 2 Android Duality structure decks. So here I have it on the screen for you guys, what you're going to want to build with those 2 structure decks. You get a lot of cards in this expert deck, and this is an expert deck, so it's a little different than normal structure decks. If you're used to other card games, you get a select amount of random foils of the structure deck exclusive cards, and you get 1 random booster pack. So we're going to talk about all the different things you can implement from that booster pack as well. With that being said, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an awesome video like this. Want to get involved in the Dragon Ball Super community? If you're new to the game, make sure to check out the Discord in the description below. And finally, guys, if you want to help out the channel directly, 3 ways you can do that. Number 1, the Patreon in the description below. Number 2, you have the YouTube channel memberships down below. And finally, guys, if you want to buy your expert Duality structure decks or any of the cards you see listed here, make sure to use my link to TCG Player or Breeder Collectibles in the description. With that being said, we will go over this deck. So we've got, first things first, is the leader. So these expert decks and structure decks, they call it an expert deck, but it's still pretty beginner friendly. You can just buy a deck, buy 2 of them, so you get all of the starter exclusives because you get 2 of them per deck. So if you buy 2 of them, I think it's like roughly a $30 investment. You'll get a pretty decent deck to take to locals, especially if you're new to the game. So we'll go over the leader real quick. Android 21, when this card attacks, draw 1. Doesn't care what it attacks, doesn't care if it attacks a leader, battle card. Awaken, when you have a blue-green multicolor card in your energy and your life's at 6 or less, you may draw 1 card, then choose 1 energy, switch it to active mode, and flip this card over. So we play a pretty good amount of dual colors to make that happen. And on the backside, permanent, you can't play battle cards with an original cost of 6 or more. Auto once per turn, when a card in your energy is placed in your drop area by one of your skills, draw 1, then choose up to 1 blue-green multicolor card in your drop area, add it to your energy in rest mode. At the start of your opponent's next main phase, choose up to 1 blue-green multicolor card in your energy and switch it to active mode. So kind of a lot going on there, but the deck really revolves around placing your own energy in the drop area to do things. So that leader effect is going to proc pretty frequently. So let's go through the main deck. We have, of course, we don't have like infinite cards to work with, so we're playing 2 Might of the Red Ribbon Army. Now in Dragon Ball Super, what we call cantrips are cards that pretty much just replace themselves and draw 1, cycle through your deck. They're a lot better when they have a body, when they have like a 5k combo attached to them, but we don't have a ton of those in this expert deck. So we're playing 2 of the Might of the Red Ribbon Army. Activate main, act from your hand, draw a card. The other activate main activates from the drop area, and you don't have to pay energy on that. So activate main, choose 1 blue-green multicolor card in your energy, add it to your hand, then remove this card in your drop area from the game, choose 1 card in your hand, and place it in your energy in rest mode. So it lets you swap out energy with a card in your hand in case you need a card in your energy in your hand at that specific moment. Pretty good for that. But I'd rather play 4 of the actual cantrip that has a body. Android 17, Mechanical Prowess. Auto, when you play this card, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck. Choose a 1 blue or green Android card among them, add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck, then choose up to 1 card in your hand and place it in your drop area. So that can be relevant sometimes for like tagging out energy and placing energy from your drop area into your energy area. But mostly we're using it to filter through the deck, find pieces, find androids, things like that. And this structure deck does not have actual counter attacks or negates. So what you're going to want are these 4 absolute release balls. It's kind of the next best thing you can play. Once you're at 4 life, you can use this to counterplay your opponent, and you get to bounce whatever they're playing that's a 3 cost or less back to their hand instead of playing it. And you get to untap a blue energy, so it's almost like you didn't really pay to use it. Also, if you do have a multicolor charge, lives of 4 or less, you can pay this by taking a life instead of paying an energy, so that's pretty good for that. Android 21, the Ringleader, again, just a cantrip. It draws a card, 1 drop. It also gives the opponent tokens, and this deck doesn't really play off tokens too much. The main set Android 21 deck plays off tokens way more, but the fact that it draws a card, you can't really go wrong. Group Leader Pilaf, this is a card that got reprinted in the expert deck. Now, it's not nearly as good of a reprint as the other expert deck got with Sensu Bean a few months ago, but still pretty flexible. If your opponent attacks you with a really threatening triple strike or a critical, you can take that away, and you can take the damage kind of how you want to take it. So if it's like a double strike crit, you can take away the crit. You'll gain 2 cards to your hand instead of having them go to the drop area. So not too bad, pretty flexible there. Yamcha the Cunning, once again, just a cantrip. The stopping your opponent from untapping is not going to come up all the time because not too many decks are doing that right now. But the fact that it cantrips, we'll play it. Maleficent Technique, Ginyu, always play 4 super combos. If you're new to this game, always play 4 super combos. I can't wait to see someone in the comments say don't play 4 super combos. That's gonna be hilarious. But no, you always play them. They're just super free. Life of 4 or less. You draw a card on the combo, and it's a 0-10k. There's a very specific reason why the super combo tag says you can only play 4 in your deck. This card is very good. You should play it. Predation, a blue-green card, one of our first blue-green cards, and it is an extra card. Now, normally, we don't want to play too many extra cards for the same reason I told you about Might of the Red Ribbon Army, but this one, a little bit of an exception. 1, we need it for energy. 2, when you activate it, you draw 2 cards. You pay 2, you draw 2, and you get to KO a 1-drop or less. So not too bad, really. There are some 1-drops in the format that can kind of hurt you. Like sometimes a card like Yamcha the Cunning or Borgos can hurt, but most of the time it's going to be Dark Power Black Mass Sand. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a 1-drop black card that pretty much punishes you for playing cards via skills and not by hard casting them. This deck does that a decent amount. So having Predation to draw 2 and then do that, pretty solid. Masterful Technique Whis. This card's pretty good in this deck. It's better in other blue-green decks, but it's not too bad. 2-drop 15k is a really good stat line. It also KOs a 2-drop or less when it comes into play, so that's pretty good. Auto once per turn if you have a blue-green multicolor in your energy. When you play a green battle card other than this card from your drop area, draw 1. So I'll tell you how to proc that in just a second. First, we have Android 16 Mechanical Prowess. Blocker, only 1 can be played in your battle area. Auto, when a card in your energy is placed in your drop area by one of your skills, play this card from your hand. So this is one of the cards that we don't want to get stunned by Black Mass Sand, because he does play via an effect, and Black Mass Sand can hurt that. So what you want to do is clear that with something like Predation, and then you want to play this guy. When you sack an energy, you just get a free blocker out of it. Since we don't have negates, like I mentioned before, having the free blocker is pretty good, so you can stop some attacks that you really need to stop. Android 16, a new start. So again, this guy is an activate main that plays himself, so he can get screwed over by that Black Mass Sand, or another reason why you want to clear it. But he has another cool effect that says Revive. Revive says when he is KO'd, you pitch either a blue and a green card, or 1 blue-green card to bring him back from your drop area. That will trigger the draw of your Masterful Technique Whis, which is pretty cool. And he also says that you can choose a blue-green multicolor, place in your drop area, and play this card from your hand. That is going to proc your leader's Awakened effect to do what she does, so make sure you keep that in mind. 2 Photon Wave, another extra card, but this is pretty cool. Activate main, draw 1, so drawing is great. And besides that, you choose all of your opponent's battle cards and return them to the owner's hand. So if your opponent is just swarming the board and getting really over advantage on you, you just put it all back in their hand, set their tempo back. Pretty solid. Maleficent Technique Frieza. This card says choose 2 clone tokens from your battle area, from your opponent's battle area, and remove them from the game. Play this card from your hand. So again, I mentioned we don't play tokens too much in this deck, but we do have Android 21, the ringleader we talked about before. So having this card to use those tokens is not too bad, and you get a free 15k body out of it. You also get to bounce back one of your opponent's battle cards. So again, you're setting them back on tempo a little bit. 2 Android 21, the Beautiful Scientist, more blue-green energy. We don't really need to ramp in this deck. This card is much better for the main set Android 21, but it does have the added benefit of having removal built in, so that's pretty good as well. Then we also have Android 21, a Bad Omen, kind of like the boss monster of the deck. You know, this deck can kind of spam weenies and attack a lot, but this guy says activate main, pay 2 blue and 2 green, play this card from your energy. Auto, choose 1 card from your energy and place in the drop area, which will proc your leader effect. When you play this card, choose to one of your opponent's battle cards and up to 1 card your opponent's life and place them in the owner's drop area. So when this comes in, it's a guaranteed damage. You can aggro them down to 1, pay 4, use this to win the game. Pretty cool. It's also a 25k attacker, which is nothing to laugh at. So if you bring this into play when your opponent's at 2 life, you play this, you make them crit a life essentially, you attack with it, you're in good shape right there. Now in the sideboard part of the video, we do have a few cards that I want to talk about that you could potentially pull from that 1 pack you get with the Duality deck, or if you just get other packs, stuff you might want to include in this deck. Android 18, Speedy Substitution. She's pretty cool because she does the same thing as our Android 17, but she has another added effect that says when you play this card, activate the skill. At the end of the turn, you may choose 1 blue-green multicolor card in your energy. Return it to your hand. If you do, choose 1 card in your hand and place it in your energy in rest mode. So if you need a card out of your energy in your hand, you can grab it with Android 18. She's a super rare in the set, so kind of hard to pull, but if you do pull it, it's a great inclusion. Android 17, another card you're going to want to include. This card says if you have a blue-green multicolor in your energy, you can charge it and ignore energy exhaust. So you get to charge a blue-green without having to put it in tapped. That's really powerful. Android 18, Mechanical Prowess. This is a card you might want to include in your sideboard if you go to a locals that plays best of 3. It says if you have a blue, green, multicolor in your energy, when you combo this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and return it to the owner's hand. So again, the Dark Power Black Mass Sand, that card can hurt you. So having the ability to deal with it, pretty solid. Bulma's Advice. This is a card you will get in the expert deck. Do not play this card. This card is so bad. 3 energy, draw 1, and your leader gets plus 5k for 2 turns. It's not worth it. There's so many better things you can do with 3 energy. It's another extra card, so if you draw it late, you can't combo with it. It's a trap. Please don't play it. Android 21, a brilliant idea. If you pull any of these out of your pack or out of any random packs, play this card. It's so good. It has so many different effects. You give your opponent tokens, you get to eat tokens to either KO a battle card or give your leader and another battle card or another battle card plus 10k and crit. So this card's really good. It also provides tokens, so you don't necessarily have to rely on other things, but you do have your Android 21 the ringleader to give them tokens from a previous turn. This card's really good. Another card to include, the Android 21 Destructive Villain. She villainous is not too important because you probably won't have too many of these, but she chooses an energy and places it in the drop area. When you play her, you can choose all of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and place them at the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. So this card, again, procs your backside leader effect and it clears the board. So really great value there. If you pull this out of your pack, you're definitely going to want to include it. And finally, guys, 2 cards, unfortunately, that the deck cannot play. If the deck could play the Secret Rare Vegeta, that would be sweet, but the leader cannot include cards of a cost of 6 or more. But if you pull it in your pack, you might want to consider building the Android 21 ramp deck, because some of the cards you get in the expert deck, they do work well in the ramp deck itself. And finally, guys, the Android 21 Violent Predator. Again, unfortunately, you can't play it in this version of the deck, but this is the boss monster of the ramp deck. Just wanted to include it just so you guys can see the effect here on screen and kind of see what you're working with if you do decide to go the main set route. This build here with the expert deck, much more of like a low to the ground kind of spammy version. The one from the main set, you're ramping up to this big 8-drop boss monster, trying to drop that. So guys, hopefully this is helpful for you new players out there trying to get the most bang for your buck out of the Android Duality structure deck. Let me know in the comments below if this was helpful. Hope it was. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.